Joanne Lorenzo, and I run the Magdalene Project here in Niagara Falls, a ministry for women. And we have a friend of ours here. Her name is Amber.
Hi,
What's your name?
my name is Amber Rowlett, and I'm originally from Lockport. I live here in the Falls, and I'm a recovering addict, ex-crack user, alcohol, and marijuana.
Wow. Now, how long have you been clean?
June 7th is my clean date. My last use was June 6th. That was of alcohol. My crack cocaine use clean date is October 31st, Halloween 2014.
Oh wow, that's wonderful.
Feel
That's
great.
wonderful. How did you, if you don't mind, I'm going to ask you some questions.
Sure.
How did you start, how did your life start using drugs or alcohol? What started you doing that?
My upbringing had a lot to do with it, I think. I think that because of such harsh ground rules at home, and I would say abuse, making me like so sheltered and not involved with the community, made me, when I was old enough to realize that I got my freedom, I started hanging around the wrong people, the streets, where I found what I thought was love, because, you know, people were nice. We were all in doing the same things. I've had my first cigarette probably around 10 years old. I then started drinking around 12. I would hang around with my brothers and sisters. Well, my brother and sister, who are both older than me. My sister's a year older than me, and my brother's 2 years older than me. And my brother had a big influence on my life because his friends would come over to the house after school. My mom and my stepfather would be at work, and we would have the house to ourselves. And my mom always called before she got home, better have the house cleaned before I get home, and we'd hurry up and scatter and get everybody out of the house. So that's where we would do the parties. The real house parties started around 13 when my mom split up with her ex-boyfriend, stepdad. And that's where I started skipping school. My first best friend, the one who I first started smoking cigarettes with, introduced me to an older fella who was a pervert. And he used to pay girls. Well, he'd get these girls on somas and pills, but I was never into it because the first time I did it, I puked. So I stuck with drinking the alcohol that he always had in the fridge, Boone's Farm. It was like with champagne, like a small amount of alcohol, but it's still me. I'm 13 years old, and I felt pretty good. This guy, I didn't necessarily have sexual intercourse with the man, but I was doing things to get paid. You know, and it was something that was wrong, and at the time I knew it was wrong because I showed my sister, and I told her not to tell my mom. My sister ended up beating the guy with his cane.
Oh wow.
But she never told my mom.
How were you feeling about that? Like in the beginning, how did you feel? Did you feel empty inside, or did you feel like lost, or how?
Well, I wanted money, and I figured because I wasn't really getting much money, I wasn't really. I think at that time I wasn't really getting allowances. I had a friend, my first best friend, and she was a bad influence. She introduced me to two men actually, and the second one, they were best friends, the two men. And again, here I'm thinking money, and I didn't think of it as being too much of a bad thing, although I know it was wrong, but I didn't know how serious it was. And it was almost like lost, and I didn't know role model. Wanting to fit in somewhere, not really sure of where to fit in, but I didn't know at the time this girl was on crack cocaine, and she was living that life as a prostitute on the street, 18th Street, back in the day when it was the strip. So this girl, I think I looked up to, being that I loved her clothes. I seen a reflection of her picture in me. And then one day I finally met her. And this is after I've already started using marijuana and alcohol. And because I looked up to this girl, and without even knowing her, one day she came over. I was 13 years old, and she came over to Bob's house. That's what his name was. And she wanted to get, her mission was to get me hooked so she can pretty much pimp me, which happened for her. I was 13 years old. I smoked my first piece of crack, and I remember looking, I opened the door and I was looking for more, and the guy across the hall was like, "Are you losing something?" I said, "A key." I was looking for a key. I didn't understand it, but she asked Bob, the guy, for a ride, and he said, "Absolutely not." He took his car and he left because he knew how messed up this woman was. She wanted to get me out there so she can get money for drugs. So we took a cab to somewhere off of, like a farm, some guy's house. He wanted to take pictures of me, and I said, "Not without a paper bag over my head." So I did that. He had pictures of a 13-year-old. I didn't have sex with that one, but I wasn't a virgin at this time. I actually had sex with 2 boys before this, but they were like people I had crushes with, and they weren't my boyfriend. It was just, I was never explained about sex. I was never explained about anything. My period, I just got it, you know, and I just never really was taught about sex, safe life as how it's God intended it to be. So after going somewhere in Pendleton, we took, and she must have got a lot of money. He gave me some money. I told him I wanted $100. He gave me 50. It was for pictures, and I know he touched me. I'm pretty sure I didn't do anything with him. I might have given him more, but I'm not too quite sure. I know I did have my limits, and I was sticking to them all the way up until she took me to the falls, Niagara Falls, and she had some drug dealers meet us at, I believe it was a Holiday Inn or something over there, where the casino is now. And I remember there was 2 guys back to back. They wanted to do it, and I had sex with them, and they gave her the drugs. Well, we got to her house, and we were smoking crack at her house for 2 days straight until she said she was going to get drugs. And a friend of hers, a trick guy in a van, a white van, picked her up, and I never seen her again. And I was always looking for her, and she just left me there with lots of crack. And even after smoking lots of crack, I just didn't want to unwind. I actually was a victim of hurting myself to get my drugs. But yeah.
And can you give us one statement, like just a positive thing that's all this stuff has happened in your life? Can you give it a positive outcome? You know, how all things work together for good for you.
Through all the time of trying to get clean, I never lost faith with my God. Even though at times I would always question in the back of my head, well, if you're really real, why am I going through this? And I was having such a spiritual war within myself because of the things, the sin that I was doing, that I was having pain in my chest, pain in my sides for several years. I mean, it was bad. And doctors couldn't find anything wrong with me, but I knew that it was spiritual warfare and I had to figure out something. And I was always asking for questions. So the more I seek God, because I always was sent to church, I always knew that there was an angel above watching over me, because there's times when I'm just like astonished, like, how did I survive that? And I've heard my angel tell me what to do at that moment when I could have really been hurt or killed. And so I have things like that that kept me going. And my thing is to say is never, ever give up on God, because God is the source of all power. No matter, you can't see him, but you can feel him, and you can get to know him, and the closer you get to him, And the further away you go from sin, the closer you'll get to him, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It took about 15 years to get to the point I am, trying to get clean. I only have a few months of being clean, but this is the longest I can honestly say I've done it without anything in my life. In the past, I said, oh, I've had a year, I've had this. Well, there was sips of alcohol. There was maybe a pill trying to see if this will get me high. But no, I'm clean today because of the Lord. He's a miracle worker, and never giving up on myself. Always praying, even if I felt like crap, even if I felt like there was no hope, because I did. I felt like that for several years. I went through depression for several years. I didn't even want to get off the couch, but I had my kid. He was the reason why I lived every day. And so even though at first I only wanted to get clean for my kids, well, that was a start. Because now I'm clean for me and then my kids. Because I have to be able to take care of myself in order to take care of my kids. And now, not in a million years would I've ever thought that I would want to help for free because I love that money. I am a giving, very giving, loving person, and that's who I've turned out to be. And I just want to say thank you to Joanne. Thank you to Ann, who's Hannah House. You women are a lot of the reason that you guys inspire me, because you guys give me an outlet, a place where I can actually help. Because me helping is actually you guys giving to me. And I love to see people that have been in my shoes and where I can help, because I know I've never done that with you guys. And I remember the first time you wrote me and I was like, she wrote me back? Well, I was in jail. And that was so nice of you, and I just felt, you know, there's somebody that cares, and all it needs is a mustard seed of faith, and it will grow and grow and grow. So
we want to know we love you.
I love you too. And one more thing, one more thing.
Okay.
Ladies,
And another.
this is for the ladies or gentlemen, whichever way you want to go. I must say that get in where you fit in. If it is the NA, the AA, or find a church near you, or even Bible study, or get into a group where you can feel comfortable to find these people that will love you unconditional, just like God does, because they are working through God, and God is working through them, and that's how we change, is through people. So I just want you guys to know that don't give up hope, because if I can do it, anybody can do it. I've been arrested over 36 times. I know what I'm talking about. I've been to prison one time.
Me.
Well, I hope so, John. No, I don't. I wouldn't change anything. Although if I could start over, I definitely would not be on drugs. It's just not a life. It only ends up jails, institutions, or death. And it will ruin your life. I've already lost 2 kids of mine, but I'm on my way. Jesus loves you, so I love you.
Yes, I believe, singing.